It's just checking our alignment, making sure that we're not assuming when we're telling and we're not assuming when we are being told, or we're not checking in. So we just want to check those assumptions. Welcome to another episode of the Physician Growth Accelerator, a show where we break down your medical practice systems into vitals, give you the tools to diagnose root cause of what may be restricting your growth, and prescribe what to do about it. I'm your host, Ed Williamson, and I believe everything you are currently experiencing and have ever experienced is the perfect outcome of your current systems. The freedom that exists in that is if we step back, take responsibility, and see all that we need to do is tweak the system to create a different outcome. There's power there. And I talk with a lot of private practices, and there's a general feeling that exists out in the world in private medical practices. And that is you're getting squeezed, meaning the top side of your revenue, the total dollars coming in, and your costs are getting smaller. The gap between the two are getting smaller and smaller. This is impacted by reducing reimbursements, increased costs of materials, costs of paying employees. And what happens as that gap gets closer and closer, it can put stress on the practice, and it makes total sense. We believe growth is specific to business health. And business health is about widening that gap purposefully, creating a moat around your practice so that you're always in the driver's seat. And that's really why the Physician Growth Accelerator exists. When you speak with your team, how does that go? I know that's a real generic question. But when we work with practices and we go through a process, our diagnostic, a very deep dive into all things within their practice, probably the most mentioned place where a practice can improve from all team members is the word communication. And it's, we need better communication. We have bad communication. There's not enough communication. And this is a tricky spot because you might even be nodding your head going, yeah, that's us. We need better communication. But think about that word. That word has like 3 syllables or more in it. More. So I know I'm kind of joking, but it really is a big word in the sense of what it means and how it's potentially defined. Because if we sit 5 people down and ask them to define what communication means at their home, what communication means at the office, what their communication means between customers, all these answers come up different. And so when we generically say, well, we got a communication problem, it's typically deeper than that. And definitions and the words we use really do matter because they influence our beliefs, how we think, and our behavior creates habits. So I like to use easy examples that maybe a lot of people can relate to. And if my wife asks my son to take out the garbage, she might say, hey, can you take out the garbage? He's a good kid. So he goes, yeah, I'll do that. So he goes in the kitchen, goes into where the garbage is, pulls the bag out, takes it outside, puts it in the can, comes back in, replaces the bag in the trash can. Simple transaction. Can you do this thing? Sure, I'd be happy to. Does the thing, goes along his way. 10 minutes later, you hear more of a elevated voice echoing through the house. I thought I told you to take out the garbage. And now confusion pops up. Because Elijah in his brain says, I did take out the garbage. And so maybe that's the response. And then she gets more detailed on you didn't take out the bathroom garbage, the this, right? So probably a scenario that you've experienced some version of that. But what this was communication. And a little bit of a problem around communication and the clarity of it. Because here's how, and we operate in business this way too often, which is we think it's someone telling someone something and then that person taking that told thing and going and doing. The problem is we all define things differently. Those definitions very often create assumptions. So Elijah assumed she meant the kitchen garbage. So he went and did that. What he didn't do is he didn't check his assumption. And if you can have an environment in the office where communication is checked, meaning I'm going to come back to you to check the clarity of the statement or request to make sure that we are aligned in our vision. And so imagine replaying that scenario. Hey, can you take out the garbage? Sure thing. I see the kitchen's full. If I take just the kitchen garbage out, did I accomplish what you needed? No, I need you to take out all the garbage throughout the whole house. Got it. Boom. This is so simple, but it's a habit, and habits take time. But imagine the power of communication in your office. If someone says a thing, whenever we say things, we have all this foundational knowledge behind it. It's called the curse of knowledge. And then the person who hears the thing, they have a different foundational knowledge. And sometimes those foundations never talk to each other. And so we run with things, and then offices go like, communication's a big problem. When in reality, all we have to do is check it. And so easy ways to put this into practice in your office is, as the leader, you can state the thing and then ask them to tell you what they believe you meant, just because you want to make sure that you are clear. And you can start building a habit in the office where you tell them, hey, you can ask me or state back to me what you think I'm looking to accomplish so that we're always on the same page. Because that level of communication is so powerful. Because we're getting rid of our assumptions. We're getting rid of the curse of knowledge that creates lack of communication, conflict, sometimes defensiveness. I thought you meant this. No, I meant this. Well, I was going to do this. Well, I didn't do this. Well, you should have done this. Well, it's common sense to do this. Well, you didn't say that before. You didn't do it last time. All these things, it's so simple for that not to exist. And doesn't that sound nice? So doesn't that sound like a place Monday morning you'd much rather be, is a place where it's, hey, can you do this thing? Got it. When I do this thing, this is what you expect to be the outcome? Oh, actually, well, I'd really like it to be this. Perfect. Now I understand, and I will accomplish those things. It's just checking our alignment, making sure that we're not assuming when we're telling, and we're not assuming when we are being told, or we're not checking in. So we just want to check those assumptions. If you ever want to chat about these things and how to implement them in your practice, always feel free to reach out at physiciangrowthaccelerator.com. While you're there, check your vitals. Simple online quiz. It'll help you identify where are there places that might be the tightest pinch points in your practice. What may be creating that squeezing gap between the top line revenue and your costs so that you can create a little bit more freedom, a little bit more space for you to do the things you love. With that, we'll see you next time on the Physician Growth Accelerator.